Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you a game between Killer versus Tarson here on GSL Daybreak. I am going to be taking it a little bit slower today. I just got off of a 12-hour casting session last night at the SoCal LAN esports circuit, able to cast with some really good people out there. Thunder Toss, didn't get to cast with Mugimi Bear this time, got to cast with Gwen, saw a lot of really good matchups, met Beastie Cutie, met Check 6 Sleep, and it was just a really great event altogether. Now, Killer spawning as a yellow Zerg player here at the 7 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Tarson spawning over here as the red Terran player at the 1 or 2 o'clock position. Now, a quick thing to note, if you guys do, in fact, want updates on when I will be casting those live events, which I think I will be casting more and more in the future if things start to work out, make sure to follow me on Facebook and or Twitter. My Twitter is Crota_US West, a throwback to the good old days of Battle.net. Meanwhile, my Facebook, just look for Crota. I'm pretty sure you can find me pretty easily out there. Now, we're going to see a standard drone scout coming in from Killer. Tarson, on the other hand, over here on the other side of the map, pretty much opening up with a gasless build so far. I will see if he does decide to stick with that. No real telltale signs so far. Tarson could try to go for a refinery and then go into those Hellions, or perhaps he could try to delay those Hellions and go for a faster command center. What we will see, though, is a drone now coming up the ramp, and Tarson's drone will spot this and perhaps be able to make the appropriate moves. Barracks is being completed, about 2/3 of the way completed so far. There is no gas being harvested at all, no refinery down, so Killer knows that most likely it is either early barracks pressure or perhaps a faster command center somewhere. He needs to figure out, he needs to do a little bit more scouting, but I believe he thinks that there is going to be a command center, and he would be right this time around, as we now see a drone patrolling at the natural expansion. SCV now making its way over. It will scout out this one particular expansion rather quickly and pretty much know that his opponent did go for a hatch first. No real major engagements. A Marine is making its way down. Will be able to shoo that drone away. And most likely a bunker will be established here, and then this party will get started as players will start to engage against each other. Now, Killer has opted to go for the metabolic boost, which I do agree with. Zerglings in general don't fare well against Hellions, and when those Hellions do come out in mass, they are able to deal a lot of damage, especially when those Zerglings do not have that metabolic boost in order to get a decent surround. Tarson is following this up with double gas right now without the barracks. So there are two options coming in from Tarson. Tarson could just be going for that reactor Hellion play, or he could try to be doing something a little bit more sneaky and try to go for Banshees. And we'll see what that's going to be. I'm 9 times out of 10 or 7 times out of 10, it will be that Reactor Hellion play, simply because the aggression and the effectiveness gives you so much more map control. Hellions are faster, able to take down Zerglings as long as they're not picked apart. And we'll see if that barracks is lifted off, and then perhaps we'll be adding on a reactor. It does seem to be the case. Down it goes, and wait, nope, yep, there you go, there is that reactor. So it will be Reactor Hellion play. We are still getting gas here off of 2 geysers, so perhaps it could be a transition into Banshees after, say, 4 Hellions, or perhaps a switch back into Terran bio with siege tanks and medevacs. Overlord now making a suicide move into the natural expansion. It will spot the command center over here at the 3 o'clock location. We'll see what will come of that, as we now see some Zerglings making their way across the field. 4 Zerglings already in the field, with 6 more on the way. We do get that metabolic boost already, and with that metabolic boost, perhaps the Zerglings could do a bit of a run by. We'll see how that's going to work. Tarson does have that supply depot lowered right now, so the Zerglings could perhaps jump up that ramp, but only be forced to deal with some Hellions. 20 Zerglings now being added. We are now going into that starport with Banshee, and that is the perfect follow-up. But Tarson is currently behind in terms of overall supply. 33 compared to 44, an 11 supply difference, as the Zerglings now going to look to perhaps poke up this front door. There is the Hellions. Zerglings trying to get us around here, not going to be very successful at all. The Zerglings just going to get torched. The 1 bunker SCVs, and I believe Killer, unless he just over-invests in this one particular strategy, he's not going to be able to get all too much. The Zerglings now going to go after some supply depots. The Marines, the bunker is trying to be salvaged. It will not salvage in time. And the Hellions are now back over here. Perhaps the orbital command will lift off, and a bit of damage is dealt. But Killer investing very heavily into all of these Zerglings, and for every pair of Zerglings that are trained, that is a drone that is not trained. 48 versus 32 supply, 21 SCVs versus 24. More drones are being added, but now with Banshees coming in sometime soon, these Banshees could deal a lot more damage, especially also that Tarson has an additional command center back at home. He will be able to get back out of this economic hole. The additional mule will help, and also the ability to train up 2 SCVs at a time. He will be able to train up about 8 SCVs a minute, comparable to Killer if he does want to train up about 17 drones a minute, because you do have to save up some larvae for those overlords. We'll see what's going to be happening off over here. There are Zerglings down here. There are Zerglings off here as well. Tarson is down by about 15 supply. And we'll see whether or not this Banshee will be able to do any serious damage. There is so much map control, however, coming in from Killer, and Killer should be able to respond with additional drones or perhaps creep tumors to connect these bases. Evolution Chamber is already down, now teching the tier 2. The Banshee flying straight across the map. We now see more drones being added. What is going to be done here? The Queen will beat the Banshee in a one-on-one fight, but the question is going to be how much damage is that Banshee going to be able to do? Where is that Banshee? The Banshee is now down over here engaging against Killer. Who's going to come out on top? Does the Queen actually... No, the Queen actually looking to back away. There is a Spore Crawler there. The Spore Crawler could get some more hits. The Queens, because there was no creep in between the bases, unable to take that down. Meanwhile, a sea of Zerglings now once again running around inside the main, and Killer doing a great job only going for mass Zerglings. And that's the only offensive unit that we've seen so far. 2 Banshees now better than 1. It looks like those Banshees are going to be going after the Queens. How much damage can be dealt? Killer is in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, are we going to get a transfusion? No, no transfusion. But at the cost of a Banshee, not that great of a trade at all, as we now see front door supply depots being added to prevent any more run-bys. Harvester count 29 to 50 of catapult, catapult or an astronomical jump in terms of the overall economy. Tarson, what will he do now with this Raven? I do agree that Tyrion players need a detector in order to get rid of that, get rid of those creep tumors. Constantly wasting Scanner Sweeps, really not the best overall investment. And then the Raven can also drop auto turrets. It can drop point defense drones to help protect against the Queens. That's exactly what you need there. And does it also protect against Spore Crawlers? That I'm not 100% sure about. I would normally believe so, since it is one of those missile attacks. I do know for a fact though that Roaches in that attack is not stopped. Now coming back over, you can see some damage is being dealt. Queens are now making its way over as well. The Raven is backing away. Is the Raven going to perhaps drop some auto turrets? And those auto turrets would have been able to deal a good amount of damage, perhaps force some transfusions across these, but it wouldn't really have killed any units, so no true damage there, just a little bit of hit points on a Queen. Hellions and Marines now making their way across the field. Combat Shield is being started. It will be finished in about 60 seconds. 1-1 upgrades will be finished. So these Marines may hit a bit of a timing here, as we are now also going into a Raven. This Raven does have enough, for that point defense drone, that PDD, in order to shut down those Mutalisks. And with that, those Mutalisks really don't have much to counter anything. Hellions now coming over. Are they going to be able to? Yes, they're going to try to torch down these units here. Marines are now making their way over. In comes the units, and are we going to get a PDD? No, it does not look like a PDD. There's the PDD. There's the engagement. Nope, I thought I saw a PDD in the air. No PDD, as the Raven finally drops the PDD down. We can see that the Mutalisks unable to truly do any damage. Hellions now trying to battle it up. Transfusions across the Spine Crawler, as the Marines are in a bit of trouble. They're trapped up against the wall here. No true avenue for escape, as the Mutalisks will be able to take down the Metapacks as well. But there are still a fair amount of Marines, and now 93 to 86 supply, as we do see a Changeling and an Overseer shot down out of the sky. Mutalisk now making a move out across the field. We are going into more medevacs. Marines are upgraded 1-1. That is very important. We are now see Tarson follow this up with a lot more siege tanks in this next push, and those Mutalisks really need to be careful in trying to shoot down those siege tanks. Mutalisks trading themselves up against Marines, not a good trade at all. Tarson is still down behind, or still down at this point by about 10 supply, but he's really not out of this game. You can see that the harvester count 56 compared to 48. Zerg players in general need to be ahead, as we also see the Mutalisks now making their way in and destroying all of these SCVs inside the main base. Killer doing a good job there. Worker kill count up to 10 for Killer. Harvester count now 49 compared to 57. This one missile turret not going to even get canceled, so a quick loss of 100 resources there, and it didn't even fire back, so a little bit of a mistake. Double missile turrets will finally be established as we are going into level 2 weapons upgrade. Going into level 2 weapons upgrade for the infantry, and those Zerglings are still being added on. We can see that this is the Daybreak, the GSL version of the map. Only one rich Vespene geyser and only 6 mineral patches here, not a full mineral patch. And missile turret able to push back all of those units. SCV perhaps should start to repair it. And if it does get repaired, that one missile turret can take down or deal a lot of damage to Mutalisk, especially if that Mutalisk ball isn't that large. We are still at a 30 or about 25 supply differential between these two armies. Zerglings are upgraded 1-0, soon to be 2-0. Meanwhile, we may even have 2-2 upgrades in time. So Tarson, if he is able to take this game, if he looks back on this replay, he will know that it has to do with his just superior upgrades, staying on top of it, getting that armory down, and we should be able to get perhaps into 3-3 upgrades, assuming that he plans this well. Tarson does not have a follow-up. No, he does have a follow-up. Tarson does have an additional orbital command inside his base. And the Marines now going to battle it up. The Banelings a little bit too far away. Siege tanks now backing off here. Siege tanks are off over here as well, as now Tarson is up by, or sorry, is down by about 30 supply. Let's take a look at the army though. You can see that it is about 800 or 900 difference between these units, but it's going to really come down to who counters who and who catches who in transit. Right now, all of those siege tanks are caught in transit. That is not looking good, but the Marines able with that stim to get over there just in time to protect. More supply depots coming in, a new missile turret coming in, but it looks as though the missile turret coming in, or the Mutalisk coming into a different location, trying to take down the starport. The starport reactor still up and operational, as we now see the medevacs making their way over to the third. And the Marines are upgraded 2-1 right now, and this is going to be a very, very dangerous timing. The Banelings are coming in, and the Banelings may find themselves up or find themselves in a pack of Marines. Tarson will really have to work on that split. Tarson now only 6 supply down. He is running on 2 bases, so this is pretty much his strategy right now. He needs to deal a lot of damage or perhaps win it outright. Otherwise, Killer will be able to expand behind this and once more. And Tarson, even though he does have that orbital command, his Harvester is still down by 11. In comes the Zerglings. Zerglings now coming in from the far side. Marines are trying to do a little bit of a split there. There you go. Banelings now coming in. Tarson is still slightly ahead in terms of the overall supply. Is it going to matter as the Marines coming back over, siege tanks coming over, and now Killer down by about 30 supply. Things not looking good for him, as the Marines should be able to clean up what is left here. One spine crawler quickly falls. A queen doesn't stand much of a chance, and now it is going to be 2 bases to 2 bases. Any more drones, Zerglings that come out of there, these eggs will get instantly taken down, as the siege tanks look to back off again and perhaps not fight on creep, hoping that this creep will recede. We can see that there is a new hatchery over here in the center location. It will get canceled. One siege tank getting caught in transit once more. Marines are now trying to come back to the rear. We see some Banelings. The Banelings do find some good splashes, but only hitting siege tanks and not hitting Marines. Marines now making their way forward again. You can see a lot of creep tumors down. All of those creep tumors will get destroyed, making sure that there is no movement speed bonus. And now all Killer can do is perhaps try to attack the front door, but there is a pretty good wall, and also Marines and siege tanks up on that high ground. There are Banelings on the low ground. We may see a Baneling landmine simply destroy any more units if they do come out to play. Tarson still has not done anything with this orbital command except drop mules. and the main base is pretty much already mined out. Already down to 5 mineral patches. There's not many mineral patches left, or minerals left in these mineral patches at all, and we'll see what will be happening as the medevacs now retreat and return back home. There's the Marines catching those banelings at the bottom of the ramp. Beautifully done, beautifully played. And what will be happening next as the siege tanks now looking for their next target. A little bit of that walk of shame with those drones, and Killer decides to say good game, well played, knowing that he cannot get back into this. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, stay tuned for game 2 in this series.